Hi, my name is Jon Kelsen, and I teach here at Drisha. In chapter 6 of Devarim and Parashat Va'etchanan, the Torah reads, it's a pretty well-known pasuk, V'asita hayashar v'atov b'nei Adonai, that we are supposed to keep the mitzvot and to do the yashar and the tov, the straight and the good in the eyes of God, lemani tablach, in order that we ourselves may benefit in return. And the midrash there, Rashi cites it, says hayashar v'atov. What is meant by doing the good, the straight and the good? So Rashi says zupshara lifnim mishurat hadin. The straight and the good refer to pshara, compromise, arbitration, and going lifnim mishurat hadin, which is often translated as going beyond the letter of the law, something along those lines. So if we read this like Rashi, and actually like Nachmanides here as well, one gets the impression that this is a mitzvah, actually, that we're all commanded to engage in fulfilling not only the mitzvot and our core obligations proper, but also to go lifnim mishurat hadin, to go above and beyond the strict letter or line of the law, to take it further. The Ramban has a lengthy essay here in parallel to his essay in Parashat Kedoshim, where he outlines why this would be necessary. And indeed, this notion is borne out as well by other Rishonim. For example, in the Sefer Mitzvah Katan and the Smak, he counts the mitzvah of going with Nimur Shurat Hadin as a mitzvah. He actually thinks that this is one of the 613 mitzvot incumbent upon Jews of all types. In distinction, however, when you look at, for example, Maimonides in Hilchot Deyot, in the first chapter of the laws of personality traits or character traits, Halacha 5 there, he seems to speak of the going lifnim mishurat hadin as not mandatory, not as halachically mandated per se, but actually as the mode, the choice of the chassid. For Maimonides, the chassid is defined as one who, rather than traveling the middle path, the golden mean, now they're going too far one way or the other with regards to various character traits, but being one of moderation. So the chassid is one who is more extreme on any given character trait. There may be perhaps many different character traits, and chooses to focus more on one side or the other on a spectrum of characteristics. For example, with regards to the sort of polarities of haughtiness and lowliness of spirit, respectively. So the middle path would be basic sort of humility, neither too humble, neither too lowly, neither too haughty. And the chassid may be one who chooses to, be extreme in her own humility, and actually, veering towards perhaps something approaching lowliness of spirit. That's just one example. And in that context of describing the chassid, Maimonides says that the path of midat chassidut, the way of chassidut that the chassid chooses, this is called lifnim mishurat hadin. So, one thing which is interesting about that is that it sounds that, like that for Maimonides, it's not actually a mitzvah, like a chiyuv, an obligation to go lifnim mishurat hadin, which is kind of what it sounds like from Rashi and the Ramban and certainly the Smak, but rather it is a choice, right, for one who is a chassid or who chooses to adopt midat chassidut. So for that person, they go lifnim mishurat hadin, but the core mitzvah on all Jews is to actually occupy the middle ground. A slightly different formulation might be that for one who is a chassid, so for that type of person, then the obligation to go lifnim mishurat hadin kicks in, is triggered. But for one who's not a chassid, there is no such obligation, at least not writ large. I'm not sure if that's what Maimonides means, but that is an alternate formulation. And I think that this just leaves us with a very interesting sort of question on several grounds. One is, what is our relationship to the core din as opposed to going with lifnim mishurat hadin? Two is the question of, are there sort of different levels of obligation depending upon our general self-categorization or categorization by others? Is there sort of one Torah for the average Jew, which is no mean sort of task to fulfill all the Torah, but there's another level entirely for the Chassid, which goes with Nimushurat Hadin, which is of a Midat Chasidut, a different Torah, or actually are we all bound to look towards Nimushurat Hadin, to go above or beyond the letter, the line of the law? That is an interesting question to think about in the course of Parashat Va'etchanan and further, as we encounter many, many mitzvot in Sefer Devarim, but framed by the call of Asita Hayashar V'Hatov Be'enei Hashem. Shabbat Shalom.